Okay, guys, we're back. Welcome back to the Petal Talk podcast. I'm your host, Allison Crowder, and today we are doing a solo episode. Hi, welcome to Petal Talk, where skincare meets soul care. Which, this is our first one, and it's kind of my idea. I felt like we needed a moment to just kind of not start season 2, but I have been kind of jokingly say we're entering into our season 2, but I wanted to give some updates on the spa, on the podcast, and then we asked on our Instagram, and I asked on my Instagram as well to ask us some questions. We are going to Q&A style this episode, which will be really exciting, and just chit chat. I'm just basically talking to myself, which is pretty much what I do all the time by myself anyway, so it should be, pretty fun. But yeah, there's been a lot going on here at the spa these days. There's always something. And the last, 8 months, but really the last couple weeks have been crazy, but they've been good. We have moved the podcast studio. Not that you would really be able to tell because it's the exact same for you, but it is a new location for us, which is very exciting. It's a lot bigger. It makes a bit more sense for us. And we're stoked. So that's new. In regards to the Rose, we have brought on quite a few new team members. So we have a full team right now, which I personally could not be more excited about because our team is just the best. And I'm grateful for all of them. We extended our hours. We brought on a couple new services. There's just been so much going on. And I'm so grateful for a lot of reasons, but I'm so grateful that we have the most incredible guests that allow us to do the things that we love every single day. I love that we have a space that's beautiful, that we're able to do the things that we love every single day. We have an excellent team. We have excellent owners. We really are so set up for success in so many ways, and life is good. And I know that not everyone can say that, and I understand that. And I know that not every business is really going through that all the time. And obviously there's highs and lows, but even though it's chaotic sometimes, life is good and we're doing good over here. So like I mentioned, we asked on a couple of different areas. We asked on my personal Instagram, we asked on the podcast Instagram, and we also asked on the spa Instagram to ask us some questions, and I thought that it would be fun to just answer them. Some are skincare related, some are personal, and I just thought that it would be so fun. So that's what we're doing today. Also, let me add, if you're not following us on Instagram, you are seriously missing out. The spa is at the Rose Spa of Lake Mary, and the podcast is the Petal Talk podcast. So if you're not following us, what the heck are you doing? And if you're not following me either, my Instagram is at AllieMayBabe. So make sure you're following me too, because it's so fun over there. But anyway, let's get into the questions. So we'll start light. Let's see. How do I know my skin type? That is a great question. You should definitely see a provider, see a professional, so they can support your decision of whatever your skin type might be. I think a lot of people kind of misdiagnose their own skin type because they are, seeing a lot online, or maybe their mom has a certain skin type, so then they think they are the same. A lot of times guests think that they have one type of skin and they actually have the exact opposite because they've been treating it poorly and improperly this whole time. You typically have a general idea of how you know your skin type. Do you find yourself to be more oily? Do you find yourself to be more dry? That's kind of a good, entry to that conversation. But definitely seek out an esthetician or a dermatologist or someone who has a professional experience so you can get the right answer so you don't waste your time and money on things that don't really pertain to you. What does 2025 bring? That is an excellent question as well. And I love talking about this. Ryan and I love talking about where we see ourselves in a year, in 5 years, 10 years, whatever. 2025, if you ask me, looks like hopefully opening a second location, hopefully having double, if not triple, the amount of team members. Jenna and Ryan will be having their baby in the spring of next year, which is so exciting. So we'll have a little spa baby running around. 2025 will bring a lot of really exciting things. I cannot believe that this year we're already in the 8th, almost 9th month. It's crazy. This year has gone by so fast. I know that next year will feel even crazier, especially with them having a baby and all that comes with that. But we have a lot of plans for next year, and I'm really excited for it. Someone asked me, what is my job? My job is to do whatever Ryan says, whatever Jenna says. No, but actually my job is to just handle the day-to-day operations of this building, of the spa, whether that's guest facing or back end or whatever that might look like. I'm in a cool position where I get to do kind of a little bit of everything, and I kind of get to do the things that I love, and I don't have to do the things that I don't love. And what I've loved so much about working for a smaller business, not a large corporation, is how much I've been able to learn being here comparatively to like big companies. You don't always get to see all the gears working at a big corporation, but you definitely get to see that here. And it's cool to watch the decisions that I make, the decisions that we make, really make a change. And that was kind of long-winded, but my job is basically to do everything that everyone needs. And I do it with this smile on my face. Is it really necessary to wash your face in the morning and at night? Yes, it is. It's necessary to wash your face in the morning because when you're sleeping all night long, you're sweating, you're touching your pillowcase, maybe use a lot of heavier creams at night, oils, whatever. You don't want to carry that same gunk, so to speak, into the day. Even if it's a bit less aggressive. I know a lot of people don't love to wash their face in the morning and the evening. Even if you just take a bit of a toner or a bit of some sort of like a CBD skin mist spray situation to at least get the kind of residue off the skin, and then whatever SPF and vitamin C, those are definitely important. And then as far as washing your face at night, yes, obviously that's very, very important. Making sure that you're washing your hands before you do any skincare. And then obviously being mindful of you're washing off dirt and debris and bacteria from the whole day. So you absolutely should be washing your face morning and night. That's like not up for discussion, in my opinion. Okay. My husband asked, how did you find that handsome being that you call a husband? I thought I would answer that because obviously I think it's funny, but Justin and I met because I was friends with his sister, and I asked her to hook me up with her older brother. But as far as dating, where to meet people, or like how do you find your person, not that anyone necessarily asked this question, but I would definitely suggest do the things that you love and meet people that are also doing the things that you love. So whether that means it's a sport, or whether that's, you love art, so maybe you're at a art museum or whatever, finding people that enjoy the same things that you do. In my opinion, that's a lot better than at like a bar, personally. What else? What skincare lines do you use at the spa? It's an excellent question. We use Is Clinical for our clinical treatments and advanced treatments. Then we use Glymed Plus, and then we also recently brought on Face Reality as well. So we offer those 3 skincare lines. It offers a wide variety of kind of entry-level, mid-grade, and high-level skincare treatments and services and retail. And we love all 3 brands very much. What is your favorite service that we offer at the spa? It's a great question. I think recently I've been really into a microneedling with the BioRepeel. I think that's really cool. We don't do a ton of them all the time, but when I see guests who want to get microneedled with BioRepeel, I think that's very, very cool. I think that is really covering all of your skincare concerns. Microneedling on its own is such a beautiful treatment, Bio Peel on its own is such a beautiful treatment. And to do them together, you see such a big difference. I think that's very cool. Why did you start the podcast? Why did we start the podcast? Ryan and I talked about starting a podcast really quickly after I first started working here. Probably, I honestly want to say that we talked about it before I even started working here. Is that true? I want to say in like our first, maybe they put me through a lot of interviews. Okay, guys, they made me do 3 interviews, at least 2, but maybe 3. I think it was in the second one. We were up in his office and I don't even remember how it came up, but it like very briefly came up and I thought to myself, oh yeah, that would be really cool. We should definitely do that. And then, a few months later, we kept talking about it. Oh, one day. We're always doing a million projects all the time. And what really made us do it, I don't remember exactly the day that he said, okay, like we're absolutely going to do it. But we really just wanted to have a media outlet that we could connect more with our guests and to other people in the industry, whether you are licensed or you just like the beauty industry. We wanted to be able to share our story. We have a really unique perspective. We have a lot of really excellent team members. And I think more than anything, being able to share other people's story, share what makes them unique. I think that's a really cool and special thing that not everyone has. And we just wanted to, showcase all the people that we love and the things that we love. And it's been so fun so far. And we've had some of the most amazing guests. And I have just had the best time. So that's kind of why we wanted to start it. What is your relationship like with the team? My relationship with the team looks like I'm obsessed with all of our girls. I don't know. We have a really big team right now. This is the biggest that we've ever had. And hopefully just continues to get bigger and bigger. Something that Jenna says a lot that I agree with and we talk about is we can teach anyone how to do any treatment. And I mean that. I am pretty confident that I can teach anyone how to do a facial, to learn what a chemical peel is, those types of things. But we can't always teach charisma, personality, energy, those types of things. And so when we hire, if anyone is ever curious or if anyone ever wants to work here, it's so much more than on paper what their resume says. It's so much more than, are you certified in X, Y, and Z? Are you interested in whatever? It's so much more than that. It really is, what is the energy? Are you positive? Are you happy? Are you a hustler? Are you ready to change lives? Do you want to make money? We're in the business of taking care of people and we're in the business of making people feel good. And I'm really proud to say that we seriously have a truly phenomenal team. My relationship with them looks like, I hope that they see me as a mentor and as someone that they can easily talk to. I feel like all of us get along really well. I know that there's a funny kind of trope online that says you should not work at places that say that we're like family here. Like they make comments like that actually means they're toxic. I don't think that's how it is here at all. I love all of our girls. I think everyone's great and we just have the best team. And then, same with Jenna and Ryan, they've really been able to allow me to kind of step into my own leadership and do things that I have always wanted to do. And they've really let me kind of do my thing a lot of times. And that's cool because they definitely don't have to. And everything's great. Our team is great and everyone has a great relationship. And I can't wait for us to keep growing and bring on more and more. If you're ever interested in working here, always shoot us a DM. We're always accepting applications. And it's like the best place to work. I think about this place 24/7. So it's been great. What is the best part about the beauty industry? The best part about the beauty industry for me would probably be being able to change people's life, as small as the way they view themselves or the way that they see themselves. I feel like, I know that the way you look does affect the way that you feel. And when you look good, you feel good, as silly as that might sound. And we're in a really interesting area where we have so many different walks of life come in here. We have as much as teenagers who suffer from acne, or we have as far as older ladies that are really mindful of their fine lines and aging in general. And for us to be able to meet everyone where they're at and say, I see you, I acknowledge where you're at, I understand your goals, how can I best serve you? Serving people has always been my biggest passion, and taking care of the people around me is something that I take really seriously. And this industry is just so beautiful because you're able to do that on such a deep level. It's so intimate, getting a facial, getting a massage, getting a treatment. You're seeing these people up close with no makeup on, in arguably not the best lighting, with mag lamps and whatever that might look like, and being able to take a minute and acknowledge that you are helping people, helping them feel confident, inspiring them, educating them. Our job is just the best. I'm always recommending to people, if they don't really know what they want to do, that they should take a moment to consider doing something in the beauty industry. It's so fun. It's lucrative. It's special. The relationships you build with your guests is so special and something that we take so seriously. This industry is just the best. And if you're ever considering it, you should definitely do it because it is so fun. And then we can get you on the podcast. What are some of your favorite and least favorite trends in beauty right now? That's a good question. My favorite and least favorite beauty trends. I think one of my favorite beauty trends isn't really about skin, but just beauty in general, is I'm loving people wanting to go back to their natural hair color. I just recently did that. And I know it can feel like a bit of a shock, especially if you are someone like me who is blonde for so long and then they want to go a bit darker. It can feel kind of crazy. But I'm still really loving this more natural approach to beauty. I think that's so fun and it's so refreshing. So I'm really loving everyone going a bit darker, going back to their natural color. I think it's a really good look. As far as least favorite, least favorite trends. I don't know if this is so much trends, but I'm still not the biggest fan of super matte makeup, dry looking skin, powdery looking skin. It's still really not my jam. I know that has kind of left us. It's not really a trend. Like I said, it's kind of left us. But I just am loving a hydrated, healthy, happy skin. So I'm not into too much on the skin. I like a tinted moisturizer kind of look. What is your favorite episode so far? My favorite episode probably so far has been, it's a tie probably between the episode with my sister-in-law, just because I'm obsessed with her and obviously I thought that was so fun. And I think that she has an interesting story about wanting to go to beauty school and how stressful it can be to kind of make that decision. And then I really love the episode that we filmed just a couple weeks ago with Kristen from Sophie and Trey. That was really fun just because I am a fashion girly through and through, and I loved talking about clothes for an hour. That was so fun. And both those episodes are just so interesting, and I feel like we've had some of the coolest men and women on our podcast, and I'm grateful for everyone that has wanted to be on because there's just so much to be learned in every episode. There's so many takeaways, there's so many little nuggets of information, and we just have had the best guests, for real. For real. Why is the clarity of my skin directly linked to how much water I drink? Great question. Your skin is the first thing to start kind of slipping when your body's dehydrated. And you see that through having chapped lips, having a bit more crepey kind of under eyes. And so when you're drinking more water and you're keeping yourself more hydrated, your skin naturally looks more plump, more hydrated, more even. Oftentimes that results in it looking a bit more clear and a bit more supple. That's kind of where that comes from. Okay. What is the truth about facial oils? Are they really good for all skin types? I personally think so. I love facial oils for a couple reasons. I love to gua sha. I love to do a lot of lymphatic massage. I love to use them as kind of my finishing product in my routine. I personally think that facial oils really are good for all skin types because even if you are a bit more oily, even if you use a facial oil for your pre-cleanse or for taking off your makeup, adding a bit of oil back into your routine just helps to balance your skin so much than any sort of like water-based product would, in my opinion. Okay, in my opinion. But as far as facial oils, yeah, I think they're great. I think there's a lot of purposes to them. If you use it only maybe once or twice a week, or if you use it every night, I use a facial oil almost every night. You know, if you want to have other reasons for it, you can use it on your cuticles. A lot of times you can just use it in your eyebrows or use it on your lashes. Obviously, depending on what it is, obviously, I'll preface that. If you're using like a castor oil or something. But yeah, I love facial oils. I think they're great. I think that they have a lot of benefits and I think you should use them. If you've never used one, you should try, see if you like it. How often should you really be exfoliating? I would say, depending on you and your skin type, anywhere between 3 and 4 times a week. It definitely depends on your skin type, what you can handle, what you can't handle. Personally, I'm someone that can handle quite a bit, so I can go 3, 4, or 5 times a week. But if you're brand new to skincare, I would maybe only do 2 times. It also depends on what you're using to exfoliate. If you are using a physical type of scrub, or if you're using more of a chemical or like botanical type of exfoliant, they are not all created equally. And let's actually just talk about that for a second, really, because I have a lot of thoughts on exfoliants in general. One of my biggest pet peeves about physical exfoliants is the makeup of the product itself. You have to be so careful. And I'm going to just share why people hate scrubs so bad. Professionals I'm referring to. A lot of scrubs are made with walnut, almond, whatever types of nut shells or sand, not even sand, but just like these items that have been crushed into like a finely milled powder. And the challenge is those pieces of exfoliating whatever, those bits are not even in size or texture or weight. So when you're exfoliating, often you're creating micro tears in the skin, which is only going to prolong the challenge that you're having more, right? So let's say you're someone and you suffer with a lot of cystic acne and a lot of red inflamed type of acne. If you go on to use the wrong type of scrubby type exfoliant, all you're doing is reopening those wounds on the skin, right? So if you're red and inflamed and you have an open breakout and you're going in with a physical scrub and you're scrubbing and reopening, all you're doing is reopening that blemish. Then the bacteria from that is spewing onto the rest of your face. And a lot of times those scrubs have they kind of look more of like this, like they look more of like an almond, and they're creating all these micro tears that's building up scar tissue, that's building up damage. And you are thinking you're using a harmless item from the drugstore when really you're creating all this damage that's going to take much longer to heal. That's going to take way more money and time trying to heal this, what could turn into scarring as well. So it's so important that you do your research as far as exfoliants because they're not all created equally. If you're someone that does have really cystic acne, or you have a lot of open breakouts, or you have a lot of redness, or you have a lot of discoloration, it's good to look into some sort of chemical exfoliant, whether that's a salicylic acid base, a glycolic, like something, mandelic, something else, because using that harsh scrub is not good. And it's a huge pet peeve of mine when I hear girls and boys buy these scrubs from the grocery store and they think it's not a big deal. It is a big deal. Your skin is so thin. You have to be mindful. If you want to use that on your body, that's fine. Your elbows and your feet or whatever, that skin is so tough. But on your face, it's crazy. It's way too much. way too much. I realized I was going to get so heated there. I just really have a passion for exfoliants, I guess. Okay, what are some myths about anti-aging treatments that we can debunk? And then someone asked actually something kind of similar, which was, when should you start using anti-aging products? So let's talk about aging a bit. I do want to preface this with, there's something to be said about aging gracefully and being not so anti-aging focused, but being more so aging gracefully aware, right? Obviously, aging happens. There's something that we can do to prevent that from happening. And the treatments that are available are much more advanced than they used to be. And the products that are available are much more advanced than they used to be. But I do just want to preference, just as a personal note, aging skin doesn't have to mean like a death sentence. And I know, especially as women, you know, especially I feel like after you're like 30, that's like the age, it's like, oh, you know, she's going downhill already. You know, she's a mom, she has, you know, wrinkles, whatever. It's time to get the filler and the Botox and whatever. Obviously, I'm a big advocate to do whatever you want. Filler, Botox, et cetera, et cetera. We can talk about that maybe at a different episode as well, of treatments that we've all gotten here or whatever that might look like. But I think as far as aging, there's things that you can do preemptively, right? You can get on a retinol. You can use more, what is the word I'm looking for? Not like saturated. You can use more potent type products, but also being aware that just because you're aging doesn't mean it's bad. Just because you're aging doesn't mean that you don't deserve to have healthy skin, and that aging skin doesn't equal unhealthy skin, right? So when should you start using anti-aging products? Your body starts to kind of slowly produce less and less collagen, and, you know, the kind of baby fat, so to speak, kind of starts going away within your mid to late 20s, early 30s, mid 30s, you know, that kind of age between 27, 8-ish, all the way to your kind of mid 30s. That's when you kind of start to see that shift. You want to be cautious in not using those items too young. I know it's so funny right now. We can see online where these kids are going into Sephora's and buying like drunk elephant retinols at like 13 years old. That's crazy. Don't do that either. You're speeding up the cell turnover before it even is fully developed, right? Like, being mindful of that is important. As far as kind of some myths or some treatments that we can kind of touch base on, you have a lot of options. You know, if aging is something that is a concern for you, hydration is going to be your biggest benefit. So whether that means you are upping your water intake, you're using more of your hyaluronic acids, I do think using a retinol is really important. I think, obviously, not when you're 13 years old, but in your late 20s, early 30s, if you slowly want to start introducing a retinol, I think that's great. I think also being mindful of your sun exposure, that's going to be a huge factor in what that looks like and what your aging process looks like. I don't think you should be afraid of it by any means, because aging is beautiful, and it means that you are getting older. It means that you're living longer and that you are able to see, you know, your life flourish, and it's beautiful. But I understand that that is not always how it's perceived. My biggest tips, I guess, are make sure you're hydrating your skin properly, using a thicker moisturizer or something really deeply hydrating, using your SPFs, using a bit of a retinol. Those are all going to be supporting that. As far as treatments, you have some options. I would probably recommend, you have some hands-on facial treatments that are a great option, but if you're wanting to see more of like a long-term kind of situation, I think microneedling is great. We're all big microneedling fans. You can get a series of peels. That would be helpful as well. It kind of depends on the, I don't want to say severity, but how far the aging has progressed to really determine what that next step might look for you. But definitely you want to do as much homework as you can as far as retail that you're using, right? Because this opens a whole nother conversation. obviously getting treatments is awesome and important, and there's a lot that comes with it. But so much of what your esthetician can do directly reflects how much you're taking care of your skin when you go home, right? I don't remember what the girls say off the top of my head, but something about the treatments you get done is like 20% of the work. The other 80% is you at home doing the right thing. Are you eating well? Are you taking care of your body? Are you taking care of your diet and your nutrition? Are you drinking a lot? Are you using any substances? What does your skincare routine look like? You know, there's so many factors that come into that, and all of that does create stress and impact your skin. And so if you're someone who maybe we have a lot of like similar age bracket to me type of people that watch this podcast. So if you're, you know, anywhere between your mid 20s to your kind of late 30s, you know, get on that retinol, use your SPF. The damage hasn't already been done. You do have time to still kind of support a healthy skin barrier as your skin does get to be a bit older. And then, you know, once you're past kind of your 50s, 60s, 70s type of age bracket, if you want to get into bigger treatments like microneedling, I think that's a great idea. What else? What is the difference between professional spa treatments and at-home skincare routines? So professional spa treatments are different and of a different caliber because we have access to things that the general public would never. When you get your license, you are under the licensure to be able to handle different ingredients, more intense ingredients. You're able to just get your hands on things that the general public doesn't have the knowledge or the education to do so. So when you come in for a treatment and you are excited about something bigger, you're going to see a bigger result quicker because it's just much more concentrated rather than obviously when you're getting treatments at home or at-home skincare routines, the items you can get at home. That's why it's so important to get medical grade skincare and invest your money properly. And I'll touch base on that here in a second. But as far as, you know, what you can just do at home all the time compared to what you can do in the spa, like I just said, yes, a lot of your at-home work plays a part of what your skin looks like, and that is true. However, if you have big results that you want to see and change that you want to see, you do have to start getting treatments because starting somewhere is important, and being able to be told from a professional exactly what you need to be doing is really important. As far as at-home treatments, I'm a big fan of doing things at home as well, right? We don't always have time to get a million services done here when we're working. There's so much going on all the time. So I do at home have professional grade mask options. I do have a steamer at home. I do have an LED mask at home. You know, I do have these types of things at home because I do want to keep up on my skincare in general. I don't always have time to get treatments done. And so I'm aware that not everyone is interested in doing those types of things. Buying an LED mask and steaming their face at home all the time. Like, I'm aware of that. But really you want to do both because they do different things for you. And then in a similar, you know, context, when you're buying your retail, and let's really talk about it because I think that this is important. And I think, you know, for guests and providers to kind of have this conversation, I think providers feel pushy when they're talking about retail because it feels like selling and they're not salespeople. And on the opposite end, I think guests feel overwhelmed by retail because it's expensive and it's a whole new realm that a lot of times they're not familiar with. The reason on both ends it's so important to acknowledge retail and to use it to your advantage is because from a provider standpoint, your guests come in and they have challenges. You can only do so much with your one treatment every 4 weeks. You're going to see the biggest change and result and bang for their buck, so to speak, when they go home and continue to treat the skin that you just perfected by the time they left. On the flip side, with guests, your esthetician, if they're a good one, if they have integrity and if they have, you know, the professional experience and I keep saying integrity to recommend the things that you need and the things that actually work best for you, not just throw everything down your throat because you're a guest and you'll pay for it. Being able to bridge that gap is really important because retail is important. And what I see all the time, which makes me so sad, is guests will come in, they pay for their treatment, they're stoked with their treatment, and they're stoked with their results. They want to continue it. And then it comes down to retail, and their response is, oh my gosh, that's so expensive. And I'm like, I know, it's so expensive, it's crazy. This is going to make a huge difference. A lot of times the response is, but it is so expensive. I can get something else from Walgreens or from CVS. It's not the same though. It's really, really not. And in my opinion, it's best to forego the 2 or 3 bottles of whatever serum you're going to get from Walgreens and save up for the medical grade serum that you're going to get from the spa, because you're just throwing away money, wasting your time, wasting your esthetician's time, a lot of times on these retail items that you get from the drugstore that really aren't doing much. I know medical grade skincare is expensive, and I'm aware that that's not in everyone's price point. I'm aware. That's why we offer 3 different tiers really of price points, because we do want to suit everyone and take care of everyone, as far as teenagers still in high school who save all their money from their first job to come and get services, all the way up to, we have many women who work for the city here, or attorneys, or we have a couple doctors, and we have an orthopedic surgeon, and we have a neuro team of girlfriends that come in here and get services, right? We see it all as far as financial. If you're going to spend your money, spend it wisely. And that doesn't always happen in this industry, because people are pushing product down your throat. Every time you open your phone, ad. This was great. This changed my life. This changed my life. No, it didn't. It didn't. But what does change your life is medical grade skincare, and products that are worth the time and the money. Like I said, it's so much better to take the time to save your money and get something that's actually going to do something for you than to waste and get, let's just say one of our serums is $80. Let's just say, for example, you instead forego the $80 serum, but then you spend the next 3 months in between treatments trying the serum, it didn't work, trying the serum, it didn't work, trying the serum, it didn't work, trying the serum, it didn't work. And at that time, you've already spent more money on those treatments, those serums that were crap. You might as well have just bought the one from us that we used during your treatment, that we know is going to work for you. It makes such a difference for you and the service provider, because guess what? Then you're going to come back for your treatment in 3 months, and your skin's going to be at the exact same spot it was last time. And you're basically starting over. You're wasting your money. You're wasting your money with the treatments. You're wasting your money with the retail. And that's something that guests sometimes have a hard time understanding, and also service providers have a hard time understanding. It's not selling people all of this random stuff. It's educating them on, I hear that your challenge is hyperpigmentation. I don't know. This is what's going to help with that. Obviously, it's your decision. It's your call. But being really ethical in the decisions that you make is so important. And that's why our guests love us so much, because they see what we do, who we are. They see that we care about our guests. And I think that's important. So great question. Not to go off on a tangent about that. Okay, let's answer just a couple more. Someone asked, how do you spend your free time at the spa? We spend our free time making content, doing this. This is kind of our free time. The girls are really good at spending their time wisely, and they're always learning. We have a couple girls who bring their laptops to work every day, and they are always in the back watching videos, watching seminars, taking the time to continue their education. If our front desk girl, if she's feeling like she has a little bit of downtime, she's always quick to make content, grabbing myself, grabbing whoever. We try and use our free time as often as possible. We're really busy, so we don't have, a ton of it. But, sometimes that happens. You have a weird booking time. You have 20, 30 minutes in between, or, God forbid you have a no-show or whatever that might look like. The girls try and use their time wisely, and I think that's why I love them so much, because they are go-getters and they're hustlers. Okay, let's do one more. Let's look. Maybe we didn't answer all of these. What is your personal favorite treatment to receive at the spa? That's a great question. Personally, I love to receive the Is Clinical Foaming Enzyme Facial. It's the best. It's an enzymatic exfoliant, and it is lovely for anyone who has sensitive, rosacea-prone skin like myself. It's an excellent treatment. You should come in and get one. You would love it. Well, that's kind of it, guys. I know that was kind of a lot of questions. I feel like we actually got through quite a few. Again, thank you to everyone who asked questions. Again, follow us, the spa, or the podcast, whichever you want to do. The spa is just at the Rose Spa of Lake Mary, and this the podcast is the Petal Talk podcast. And then your girl is at Allie Mae Babe. Of course, you can't forget me, because if you follow all the other pages and not me, that will hurt my feelings. But that's kind of it for now. Hopefully, we'll do another Q&A here shortly. We have a lot of fun episodes planned moving forward. We never actually said that this is season 2, and I don't actually say that this is season 2. This is kind of maybe the end of season 1. Maybe season 2 will start next week. We have so much coming. We have loved this podcast so much. We've loved doing all of this so much. We've had the best guests, and we just have the best little community, and everything is just the best. So that is kind of it. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure that you do follow us. Make sure that you subscribe to the podcast. Make sure that you are following on Spotify, Apple Music, or Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts. Make sure that you leave us a comment. Tell us, what was your favorite question? If you have other questions, what questions do you have? Make sure that you comment below, and we will see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for an excellent season 1, and we'll see you in season 2. Bye.